Ladies and gentlemen, all the 30 members of parliament under the Jubilee Party have officially joined William Ruto's government. I don't know whether it is defecting from Jubilee Party to UDA or it is just going to have dalliance with President William Ruto. We've been seeing these mass defections from for the last few days, and we've been taking it, we've been giving it political interpretation with taking Raila Odinga's rallies, or rather Raila Odinga's events, giving them bearing from Raila Odinga's side. Now, today I have listened to what the president has told the members of parliament, that they will be seeking their support, we will be seeking your support in bills and regulations on housing fund, water purchasing agreements, among others. Ruto revealed his intentions, which definitely the opposition argues is sinister, meant to boost the head of state's efforts to control the bicameral house. So I know we've been saying that what this move, what President thrived in, what UDA party thrived in, is the fact that there are a lot of cool kids in Azimio who are bossy and they did not show intention to join Raila Odinga's legitimacy route. And so when President realized that there's some people that were sitting at the fence, he has decided to pick them. I don't know whether Raila made an attempt to bring them on his side and successfully, but then that one will not pivotal. So Ruto is targeting the parliament, and he's saying that he wants to support his legislative agenda in parliament. I don't know whether this is now what the president is telling us in terms of what the others are talking about in terms of development. The Nyanza MPs are talking about development. When Ruto is meeting the Jubilee guys, he's talking about them supporting his bill in parliament. But what I don't understand is there was a discussion about demonizing the mongrel of a government in the name of demonizing the handshake stories here and there, and it has been going on. I don't think that is it. Kanini Chege is from Ayala, and he attended that event. So I know for sure there is no way that Kanini Chege is going to support William Ruto in his, or rather in that move in Kenyan Parliament. I don't say. When Kenyans are celebrating, or rather those who support the president would see it as opposition is being dismembered. But I don't think that is it. Opposition being dismembered is not a big issue, because in fact we don't have an opposition in government. We just have majority and minority. And we just have people that have perfected the art of flouting political party hopping rules and weakening democracies at that level, especially at the level of political parties, sponsorship to parliament, to make their political decisions. People have just perfected that art. And Ruto has gone to parliament. As Raila is heading to the street, he might have realized that maybe Raila is going to destabilize him, and as venye nasema, he wants to target the parliament. Now, what I see is we demonize handshake, that I still remain was the best thing, and I remain that crusader, by saying I needed a standby opposition to put my government in check. The opposition standby is not Raila Odinga, it's the members of parliament that are on the other side of opposition, are in the other side of opposition in parliament. So if you drag them, if these are the people that are supposed to put you in check, but then you're all telling us you want to get their support to support you. So, or where is it? Because one thing you understand here is UDA have numbers. If it is about passing the laws and bills in parliament, they have numbers, they can make their way whether they get the support or not. I don't think that will be a problem for them. So do you think the bills cannot be passed without the 30 Jubilee MPs? I don't think that is it. But let me tell you, I have a feeling people are asking, do you think that Uhuru Kenyatta is unaware of these moves to State House? Do you think he's unaware? As today, if you check the star, government has passed the 634 million budget Uhuru Kenyatta's retirement benefits that is supposed to receive as per the constitution, and that bill is supposed to be passed in parliament. These are the people that have been making noise that Uhuru was in politics for this and that, and so he should not even be entitled to what he's been taking. These MPs from Jubilee party that have gone there, I have a feeling Uhuru could be in the know, but I've just opted to let them do it. Have Ruto successfully pushed President to the table, President Uhuru Kenyatta to the table? These are questions that you can take, but if you ask me, to some extent, I don't think the son of Jomo is unaware. Sometimes when Babu makes these statements, we normally dismiss him, but to some extent we just need to look at it in another angle. It is likely possible that William Ruto has tried to push Uhuru Kenyatta to the wall, and maybe in terms of what is needed is for that party, let me get those people, and so that I can also work on my re-election. That could be it. But then it has to be effected by going Jubilee, Wipe and others, so that going to Jubilee, ODM first, Wipe and others, so that it's not seen as only going for Jubilee party. I'm just trying to think about it. But then, the tragedy that might befall the opposition politicians going the other side, there's two tragedies. If Ruto will use them to inflict punitive tax regime on the population, and the population will suffer, I think that will be betrayal of the century. And if anyone would run a betrayal narrative of the people, then I can tell you, it's going to be very rough for the other side. I have seen the water purchasing agreements is one of the biggest problems that the ministry is facing, kwa sababu wale watu wanajenga damu wanajenga na pesa yao. They are supposed to do it, and the government wants to collect tax, and they're improving. They are reviewing the taxes upwards, the tariffs upwards. So we've all known that the biggest problem, or what Ruto has said, is simple. I want to replace debts with taxes. So I want to overtax Kenyans, not overtax. I want to tax more so that I borrow less from the foreign market. Now that means that we are staring at a very unfavorable tax regime, especially on the population. Now if these fellas gonna cross over the other side to support such a move in the guise of working together, then I think they shall have really done this country a great unfairness. Because, dancing, yes sir, saying this, but so what on well, people are looking at you. After Azimio fell on the other side, and they were also to put government in check. But then if you dance to the tune, huku mtu akiumia, I can tell you it's not going to be easy. Number two, there is a hooked narrative of development. I've just looked at the supplementary budget, or rather the budget estimates. President Ruto is reducing development money, and there is a lot of money that will go to recurrent expenditure. So, zile development mnataka hazikuwa. So the other thing is this, and I agree with what Sifuna is saying, bring us those development targets that you guys discuss so that the population, your voters, electorates can ask. If in the long run, you will go to an election without that track record and just running with a party euphoria, then I can tell you that will be a tragedy, because they are already ranking members. They are already ranking members, and you will be successfully used to equip the new formation that is going to be formed. I'm told there is a new party that they're going to form. Is it Kenya Kwanza Alliance or something? Then you make it the best. You will successfully make it the only party that if you're not in that party, you cannot make sense. And I can tell you, even though that might happen, but at the end of the day, you'll find out yourself that they're already ranking members. And so, many heads might roll. Let me tell you, when these members cross over to UDA, to William Ruto's side, are you still seeing Hustler Nation? No. Ruto is simply killing that hustler thing, narrative, to introduce the unity agenda. When Uhuru Kenyatta was campaigning to the 2017, looking for 2013, it was more of development. Now, when they got power, it is that 2017 playbook at Jubilee that Ruto is now using. Maybe he was the author of that 2017 playbook, bringing people in together and then running with the unity narrative. Now, the unity messaging is there, but when the hustler narrative is defaced by these fellas that are arriving, I don't think they are part of that hustler thing, or even if they don't envision, their image doesn't portray it, then voters will actually be deprived of an opportunity to interrogate what has gone wrong. So everything, no one will be saying this is wrong or this is not right. It's simply because you've been put into a box. So 2 to 8, there is no manifesto that people are going to look at and say, because who is going to interrogate? Anyway, you are told in the next election we are going united. It's the united one that has killed the opposition. It's really something that is going on. I think it's just vote mobilization strategy along the tribal lines. Quite unfortunate, but that is a bit of it. And I think Ruto is also planning to upset the traditional kingpins in his quest to take over. So let's wait and see how this will play out, guys. That's my point.